So how exactly do you list your product on Amazon and avoid all possible errors? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about error 5665, inventory restrictions, brand approval versus brand registration, and how to choose the right category for your product in order to get the best seller badge. All the information in this video, just keep on watching. Now in this video, I'm going to be focusing on a few essential steps for you to learn how to bypass any possible errors, because Amazon have changed a lot of their terms of service or their restrictions in the year 2020, because I want you to have a successful listing in the year 2021. However, if you want a step-by-step video of me actually creating a listing, I will leave that linked in the description box below or up here in the cards. You can watch that and then come back to this video. If this is your first time watching a video on this channel, hi, my name is Crystal. I'm the founder of Amazon Sellers Society. We help entrepreneurs and businesses sell successfully on Amazon in the Middle East. If you want to learn a little bit more about our Inner Circle membership, then you'll find the link in the description box below. Now, let's get started with our first step, and in order to do so, let's jump onto the computer. This is where it primarily becomes a little bit confusing for people. When you log into your Amazon Seller Central and you click Catalog, Add Products, or Inventory, Add a Product, this is the page that you need to be in order to list your product. And this is where it becomes confusing. What should they do? Should they add something here or should they add something here? Well, basically, if you are a reseller, if you're doing retail arbitrage or wholesaling, which means you're selling a product that is already existing on the Amazon platform, then technically you need to have either the UPC code of that product, the EIN code of that product, the ISBN, which is more attributed to books, and or the ASIN, which is the code that Amazon creates. It's a native Amazon code for each and every product. So once you have any one of those, you just basically find the product in the Amazon catalog, and all you need to do is list your price and your quantity, and that's it. So you don't control the listing and nothing else. However, as you know, on this channel, we talk about private labeling, which means creating your very own listings on Amazon. And that's why you're going to be choosing, I'm adding a product not sold on Amazon. And when you do that, you're going to need to have a UPC barcode for each and every product that you sell. If you want more information, more in-depth information about UPC barcodes, I'll also leave a video that goes through the whole barcode information. I'll leave it linked in the description box below, okay? Now, this is where you get to the first page, which is you need to choose your category. And we're going to be talking about the first very important part of listing your product in 2021 is choosing the right category. Now, you can go through all of these categories and go through the subcategories and choose the category that best fits your product. Or let's take an example. We're going to be listing this lovely coffee tumbler right here, and we want to list it. We're not really sure where to add it. So you can go down to the search result here, the search, and enter coffee tumbler, but write it correctly. And Amazon is going to give you some places or some categories which match your actual product. Now, what most people are going to do is, well, they're going to look at these categories and they're going to choose based on which category looks best. And that's fine. That's okay. In the end, people search for your products on Amazon with a keyword and not via a category. However, your product needs to be categorized correctly, meaning you can't have a coffee tumbler in the baby category because that's just not normal. So it's okay if the subcategories are a little bit different than everybody else, but it needs to be somewhat relevant to the product that you are selling. But should you just choose any relevant product without doing any further research? Of course not. Now, what you need to do is you need to figure out which subcategory you want to be listed under. Why? Because if you were able to get a really easy subcategory whereby you're able to compete with those other sellers quite easily, then you could be the number one seller in that subcategory and hence get the bestseller badge, which is something that is fantastic because, as you know, that's gonna increase your click-through rate, that's gonna dramatically increase your sales because, you know, the bestseller badge is verifying to customers, to Amazon customers, that this is a really good product. Now, let me give you another tip of how you're gonna be able to do that. Let's jump on to Amazon. So I'm right here, I'm on Amazon and I type in, I'm on Amazon UAE and I type in coffee tumbler and I get so many results. Some of them are advertised, some of them are not. I'm gonna check a few of those listings. Let's look at this first one, which looks pretty interesting. It has a metal straw and the brush to clean the metal straw. However, if you scroll down at the bottom to the additional information, you'll find that this product is listed under the subcategory commuter mugs and tumblers. However, this other product, which kind of also is similar to the product that I'm selling, is also popped up in the search results of coffee tumbler. However, this particular product in the additional information is listed under the main category sporting goods and under travel and to-go drinkware. Now, how am I gonna decide if I'm selling this type of product? How am I gonna decide which category I need to be in? And how do I decide the categorization? Like, which one is the best category for me? If you simply click on the subcategory for this one, you can analyze and look at the best sellers from 1 to 100. So I can look at seller number 1, seller number 2, seller number 3, and see if my product can actually easily compete with these products and possibly get better sales and better ranking. Meaning, if I have a better looking product than this one, a better priced product than this one, then I might be able to get better sales than these particular products and hence have my ranking for the subcategory, of course, be higher than these other sellers and thus be able to get the bestseller badge. Now, this might work for your particular product and it might not work depending on what the product is, but it is something that you need to look into because obviously having the bestseller badge is a very important thing. Now, moving on, let's assume that you chose the category. Let's just choose any category at the moment. And product ID, well, that's your UPC code. So you need to purchase a UPC code in order to enter it here. You cannot create one. You need to purchase it either from GS1 directly, or you can get it also from resellers, authorized resellers of GS1 barcodes. Now, an additional error that has been popping up in 2020 is that you put all the information, you list your UPC code, and then you get a message from Amazon telling you that the UPC code is not valid, it does not belong to your product and stuff like that. This is just another way for Amazon to validate that you are using the correct UPC barcode. You don't need to panic. All you need to do is to talk to the Amazon seller support via Amazon Seller Central and give them the actual UPC code so that they can verify that no, nobody else has used it, and yes, you can use it in order to list your product. These are additional errors that Amazon have been putting in just because they want you to get approval before you actually list your product. Either approval for the UPC code or approval for the actual brand name. Brand name. This is where most sellers are currently getting an error called error 5665, and this is where there's a very big misconception between brand approval and brand registration. So basically, you do not have to be brand registered in order to sell a product under a particular brand on Amazon. However, you do need brand approval. Meaning, if I want to sell my coffee tumbler mug and I want to sell it under a particular brand name, I need to get approval from Amazon. To get approval from Amazon, all I really need to do is verify the fact that it is under that brand name, and I need to have the logo of my brand imprinted on the actual product or on the packaging. I take pictures. I can ask my supplier to do all of that, because obviously I need a listing and I need the FNSKU barcode before the products are physically in, with me, if that's if you live in the UAE. But however, you need to just verify this information with Amazon and ask for brand approval, which means you just need to send them images of your product with the logo. That way, they will verify that you actually have a brand, and they will let you list your product under that brand name. Brand registration is something completely different, because brand registration requires a trademark. So you would need to trademark your name and then with that trademark, apply for brand registration, which is fantastic because it gives you enhanced brand content, EBC, or A+ content, which means you have a listing that looks like a website. That's the easiest and simplest way for me to explain it. And additionally, you have the option to actually add a video, not just images, which is great. However, that takes a big investment and it does take time. And you're probably not able to do all of that when you start selling on Amazon. Of course, this is something that you want to do later on, but you're not going to be able to do it when you first start selling on Amazon. It does require some time for you to set it up. So don't think that you need brand registration in order to sell on Amazon. You just simply need brand approval. Now, let's assume you don't have a brand, you don't even have a logo, and you don't have a brand name at all. This is additionally where you need to ask Amazon to also tell you what brand name you need to use. Some people are currently using NA or other, and it's also becoming a problem because Amazon are assuming that NA is a brand name and other is a brand name. So you need to open a case again with Amazon Seller Support through your Amazon Seller Central account and ask them what you should list your product under, because you don't have a brand. It is without a brand. Don't say unbranded, because they'll think that the brand name is unbranded. So just say it's a generic product. It does not have a brand. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Manufacturer, normally we would add the same name, the same brand name as your manufacturing name, especially when you're manufacturing products in China. However, if you have a really good manufacturer in Europe or in the US, then you should use this as it's intended to be used. So you add the real manufacturer of your product, because when it's not, when it's made in the US and Europe, you'll be very happy. Variations. Even if you currently don't have a variation for your product, so let's say you're only selling it with one color, which is black, maybe you might add blue later on, maybe not. It's important, I would suggest that you add your variations from the very get-go, even if you don't currently have any variation stocks, so that Amazon can create a mother listing for you. It would be much easier than trying to add variations later on once your listing is already on Amazon. So if you intend to sell this product with other variations, just create them from the very get-go, because it would be it would be easier. All you really need is a UPC barcode. You don't need to send any items over to Amazon. So basically the listing will be inactive until you decide to send those variations over to the FBA warehouse. Now you've committed to this product and you want to sell it on Amazon. What about inventory restrictions? Not a lot of people know that there are inventory restrictions when you first get started on Amazon. Now I'm going to primarily be talking about Amazon UAE and Amazon KSA, and the inventory restrictions for anyone that is starting off on these marketplaces is 800 units. So it's 800 units. It can be divided up into as many products as you want. Now 800 units is not a very small quantity. It's an okay quantity. But let's assume you're selling 2 products and you have to fulfill the MOQ, and the MOQ is 500. So now you have 1,000 units and you're sending them over from China, and you want to send them over to either KSA and UAE. Remember, the great thing about Amazon is that you don't need to live in the country that you are selling in. So you might be living somewhere else and selling on Amazon in UAE or Amazon KSA. Or you might be living in these countries. However, you don't want, this is a hands-off business. We want to create an automated business. What are your options if you can only store 800 units, yet you have 1,000 units coming in from China? Or you're a brand, you're a company, and you have a lot of products and you want to send them over to the warehouses, the FBA fulfillment centers, so that you can enroll your products in the FBA program. What can you do? Well, 3 options. If you are a new seller and if you're starting this on a budget, obviously the best way would be to put the additional products in your house. You need to find an empty closet, you need to find an empty room, you need to figure it out, and you need to store them in your house, because that would be, the cheapest thing to do, especially when you're starting out. The second option would be to find bulk storage with external warehouses. There's a lot of warehouses in the UAE and a lot of companies that are doing this type of, or that have these types of services, whereby you're just storing your additional inventory, and from time to time you can replenish that inventory and you can send some additional products over to the fulfillment center. So you're just storing, you do not need any fulfillment, you don't need any additional fulfillment services, because you're just selling on Amazon. The third option, which is the most pricey, would be to use a 3PL. A 3PL is a company that can essentially act like the Amazon Fulfillment Center acts. However, they can do that for Amazon, they can do that if you're selling on other marketplaces such as Noon, or even for your own website. So if you have some products that you want to send over to the Amazon Fulfillment Center, they can do that. And additionally, if you have products, that you want to send over to other customers, that are buying from your website, they can also fulfill all of those for you. It's a little bit pricey because, there's a lot of additional services. They can bundle products for you. They can relabel products for you. They can act on your behalf. They're like your actual warehouse and your actual team. I will leave 3 of my favorite fulfillment centers in the description box below if you want to use their services and figure out if this is something that you need to do. However, the most important tip that I have for you regarding inventory restrictions is to make sure that you are pushing your sales. So why is there an inventory restriction? Like, why isn't it open? Well, because warehousing is expensive. Amazon warehousing is relatively very cheap compared to external warehousing. And fulfillment fees, FBA fees, are additionally very cheap in Amazon versus other companies. So Amazon don't want you to use their warehouses as a parking lot. They want inventory to be moving. So they don't want you to take advantage of their cheap rates. So that's why they have a restriction. However, when they see that you are making a lot of sales, they will open up your restrictions and give you access to even more inventory storage. And that's why, obviously, for obvious reason, you want to be selling a lot from the very beginning. But additionally, in order to reduce your costs, you need to be pushing your sales as soon as you start selling to get that sales velocity going, so that Amazon can increase your inventory. So those are my tips to listing a product successfully on Amazon in the year 2021. Make sure that you give this video a like so that more people can discover it, and leave me a comment if you have any additional questions. I'll see you in another video with more information. Bye.